Well, my excitement for today is that I was cleaning the bathroom and I noticed that we have a bilge full of water, which is a little concerning. So let's figure out what's going on. I was in here cleaning the bathroom, and this is actually where the shower drains. I noticed that it was full of water. This is the cabin, which has been torn to pieces in my mad rush to figure out what's going on. So it's probably pretty hard to see, but the bilge is right full. Right now it doesn't look like there's any more water coming in, so I'm thinking that just the manual bilge pump is broken somehow. I thought it was new when I first bought the boat, but you never know. I checked the connectivity to see if the bilge pump was getting any power at all, and I wasn't getting anything. And I actually ended up just pulling the red wire right out. So basically what had happened is it broke off where it connected to the bilge pump itself. So although it was connected to the battery, there was no power going to the bilge pump. So I've got some old wire here. I've stripped this wire to get some of the green corrosion off because that's why it broke. It looked like it got corroded on the end. So I'm just going to connect these two wires together just to test and make sure that the bilge pump is still working. Twist them together there. This is just a temporary test. And now we'll bring the other end of this wire to the battery. And bilge pump is going. Okay, so I've hooked this up temporarily just to try and get some of the water out. Look, you can already see it's gone down a lot. Let's see how much is coming out. And this is the state of the cabin when I worry that my boat is sinking. It is draining quite quick, which I'm happy about. Okay, so I think that's enough water out right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to disconnect it from the battery. So now I'm going to do a more permanent fix. So the bilge pump will actually pump water, especially on times when I'm not on the boat. I don't want to have to be worrying about my boat filling up with water. All right, let's fix this bilge pump. So this is the old wire that was on the bilge pump. This is the end that broke off. And this is the end that attaches to the battery. So I'm going to keep this. It has a fuse as well right here. But I'm going to cut off the broken off end and then connect my new wire to that. So now I have to string this half, which connects to the battery, underneath here and up to the starting battery, which is where the black is already connected. Okay, so I can hear the bilge pump going, which is amazing. You can check it out. Most of the water is gone now, but still nice to hear it moving. The blue wire that I added is a little bit long, so I might just kind of tie that up so it's out of the way of everything else. But other than that, I think the bilge pump is working again. Okay, so it's not fixed yet. It just kept running and running and running, and I disconnected it from the battery. There's actually 2 red wires coming out of the pump, and so I tried connecting the red. Basically, I did exactly what I had showed you before, but I connected it to the other wire, and I thought that would work, except now it's just not going on. Like, I refilled the bilge with some water, so I'm trying to figure out what exactly is going on. There should be a little float in there that just triggers the pump to go, but maybe that's broken, I don't know. So I just looked at the wiring diagram for this particular bilge pump, and it looks like it's wired correctly now, but it's still not turning on when it's supposed to turn on, which is when there's water in the bilge. So I'm just trying to figure out why that is. The first time I had it hooked up, I did have it hooked up to the manual, set it to the manual wire. So basically what that means is the bilge pump keeps running until you turn it off, and normally you would put that on a switch. The other wire is an automatic setting where there's a float in the bilge pump, and when that float reaches a certain level from the water in the bilge, it'll cause the bilge pump to pump out the water, and it will stop once the water is low enough and that float sinks down. Right now though, I've just added more water to the bilge in hopes of triggering the automatic bilge pump, but the pump isn't being triggered by the water and it's not pumping. So although the pump works, there's something about the automatic float or something in there that's not working. So I'm trying to figure that out now. It works! So it turns out you just have to fill the bilge up with more water. And yeah, I guess the internal float needs like more water than you would expect. Turns out you can make money while repairing a bilge. A couple bucks. And there's more. This one's a little less exciting, but since we live in such a humid environment, condensation accumulates on the sides of the hulls and drains into the bilge, which is why we have a bilge pump in place. It just keeps the bilge nice and dry. But in this case, I don't know how long the bilge pump hasn't been working. I know that it was working on our trip to Victoria. If you saw our first video, you would have heard the bilge pump go on when the coolant was draining out of the engine. So it was working then, and at some point between then and now, the wire must have broken, and we wouldn't really have any way to know unless we were doing regular checkups on the bilge, which I wasn't. We've also been getting a lot of rain in Victoria, so between the rain, the condensation, and the bilge pump just not pumping out any water that was trickling down into the bilge, it just accumulated over who knows how long, and yeah, I'm glad I noticed it before we had a bathroom full of water. So this also means I'll probably be looking for a spare bilge pump so I can have two set up. So if one does break, or in this case the wire just breaks off, I'll be able to sleep a little easier knowing that I'll have a backup and it can keep the water out of the bilge and hopefully keep this boat afloat. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.